Assalamualaikum and hi. Today we're going to present for the assignment varieties of English language. The assignment is about interviewing people from expanding and outer circle countries. My name is Muhammad Afisanuddin bin Shamsun Alam and I am interviewing people from expanding countries which are Saudi Arabia.
And I am Muhammad Farifki bin Fahmi, and I am interviewing people from outer circle country, which is Nigeria.
I'm Ahmad Zulfikar bin Azlan. I will be covering the expanding country of Japan.
My name is Muhammad Kabir Harun and I am covering outer circle country which is Egypt.
I am Amir Aidil Rahmani and I am going to cover expanding circle country which is Spain.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Afisanuddin bin Shamsun Alam. My ID number is ACC22110037 and now I'm going to discuss about the varieties of English language in Saudi Arabia.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Hafiz Zainuddin bin Shamsun Alam. I am a student from College Professional Marasri Iskandar, and today I want to interview you for an assignment, which is the subject varieties of English language. And may I ask you to introduce yourself first and background of yourself?
Okay, sure thing. Hi, and thanks for giving me this opportunity to speak. My name is Nasser Al Kharraz. I am 23 years old. I'm from Yemen, but I live and was born in Saudi Arabia. Currently, I am studying mechanical engineering in Malaysia, specifically the state of Perlis.
Perlis, I
Yeah.
see. In what university?
University Malaysia, Perlis, UNIMAP.
Oh, Unimed. I see, I see. I got friend there also.
Really?
Yes. Okay. First question, like, do you mind sharing a little bit about the development of English from your country, like from the first it came to your country and then now?
Okay, so ever since I was in school, there was English language subject, but
Mhm.
they didn't teach it at primary school or middle school, only in high
Oh,
school.
oh, I see.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say, I would say that the graduate level of English was very low.
Hmm.
So as the time with globalization, with increasing the importance of English language, the government started taking another approach in teaching English language. Okay, this is only for government school. For
Mm,
international school, they have their own syllabus and they have their own system of teaching English language, I would say.
mm,
So ever since the development of the importance of English language, the
mm,
government started teaching for English language for middle school and for primary school, starting from like their third year in primary school. So
mm.
yeah, the government really started to focus on teaching English language. Also, the number of English schools that teach English only, like this school only teach English language, give courses for let's say like per month, like 3 months, 6 months, whatever. The number have really increased because, as I can say, the speaking English language has become a really important thing to get a job.
So basically, the development of English in Yemen is getting really good.
Yeah. They really started teaching, like the government and the people have really started to work on their English, to see English as something that's really important.
Okay, following the next question, like, has English, since you speaking English, has it like affected your mother tongue language, like the way you speak your mother tongue language, or maybe like you have forgotten some words from your mother tongue language because you have been speaking English for a long time?
I wouldn't say I forgot words, but I didn't learn words basically, like
Mm,
because I'm doing my degree in engineering in English language. So there are many terms that I am encountering and have encountered before that I don't really know what does it mean in my native language.
I
So I know
see.
what I know like how to say it in English, but what when I want to describe it in Arabic, I cannot like those technical terms. So yeah, I think that is an effect for me, and I hope I can work on it. Yeah, and maybe I will start reading articles in my native language regarding my course to like a good grasp of the terms.
I see. The next question, like, does your localized version of English like have unique or specific slangs that may be unique from other countries?
Um, I wouldn't say there is, but some people will use the slogans in Arabic and translate it into English, but it will not make sense. If you are not Arabic, you will not understand it. And
I
there is
see.
something weird, not sure of if the other countries do it or not, but some people like before when I used to play PlayStation, there was no Arabic language. So
Ah,
what
yeah.
we will do, we will use English letters, but we will not write English words. We will write by the English letters Arabic words. So you
Mm.
basically see English letter characters, but when you read it, it sounds Arabic word. So
I
I hope you get.
I see, I understand. Okay, for the next question, like, has there has there been any changes for the way that you talk after like you became fluent English, right? And maybe like the way you talk from before you speaking Arabic and now you speaking English and now you are learning Malay also, right? So you have
Yeah, yeah.
three languages in your sleeve and like sometimes you kinda mix it up.
Yeah. Actually, that happens a lot. That happens like when I speak with my Arabic friend, I will mix English with Arabic sometimes. And
Mm,
when I speak, especially when I try to speak in English, sometimes like today I called this company. I want to do my internship,
mm.
and the interview asked me, "Oh, can I call you at this time?" The interview was in English, so I was like bole bole bole. So sometimes it's unplanned. It goes out unplanned.
Uh,
I think I have no control of it, but yeah, I will try because, like, if I speak in like this person, like I'm talking to Arabic person, and I speak with them in Arabic, then I give like some English words. Some people will not accept it or will be a bit, let's say, upset. Like, oh, why this person is talking in English? Is he showing off, or he doesn't
uh,
other tongue, or like so different people have different assumptions or thoughts. So yeah, like they don't know that it goes out unplanned. Like
yes, exactly.
yeah,
Okay, for the last question. As you said just now, the development of English, like the education system in your country is getting good, right? But how do the education system in your country balance teaching English and the native language?
okay, that's a good question. Um, the native language is as well important thing. So for Arabs, we not only need the language for our daily communication, but for our religious practices
Ah,
because
yes.
language of Islam is Arabic. So the whole syllabus is in in Arabic,
Mm,
but the whole syllabus is in Arabic, but we have this English subject. So the school system in my country make Arabic language a compulsory subject. It doesn't give you the chance of study Arabic or not. It make it compulsory for you during primary school, middle school, and even high school.
mm.
So yeah, they don't want the people to forget their own language. Absolutely. So yeah, this is how they balance between the two languages.
I see. So, in your opinion, is it the like the best way, or maybe like you have something in your mind that can turn it into a better way?
Um, I would say that it is really good way. Firstly, like make the subject compulsory or it's something important because I can see my friends language who study in international schools, even though we live in the same country, but when I hear them, like let's say reading Quran,
Mm.
they will not be able to pronounce some words correctly
Oh,
because
yes.
the language of Quran, of Arabic in Quran is very old and needs very good Arabic command.
Mm.
So I can hear them making mistakes, saying some words incorrectly. So, but for us who studied in government school, even though like we all live in Arabic country, we all communicate in Arabic on a daily basis, but
Mm.
our pronunciation, the way we pronounce words, the way our sentence, like grammatically are correct. Yeah, I can see the difference. So I believe maybe it is the same way. And families also should do something about it, because some Arabic families will be speaking with their kids in English because they will be like, oh, I want kid to grow up speaking English language. For me, I don't see this a good approach, because firstly, Arabic language is very, very difficult language. So the kid better grow up with Arabic language, definitely. Secondly, it is the kid mother tongue. If you want the kid to grow in an environment where all the surroundings have different language, the kid will face hardship in making friends, communicating, and so on.
I see. Yes. All right. I think that is all for now. Again, thank you very much, Nasir, for wanting to help me for this assignment. And it really nice to meet you and really fun to have a conversation with you.
So much. Thank you so much, and thank you for this opportunity, and all the best in your endeavors. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Nasir, again. Bye. Assalamualaikum.
So now I will be introducing my interview. His name is Nasir Al-Haras. He is 23 years old. He was born in Yemen but live and grow in Saudi Arabia. For now, he is studying in University Malaysia Perlis, UNIMED, studying in mechanical engineering. Currently, he is speaking 3 languages, which are Arabic, English, and Bahasa. Now we're going to dive into the first question. As for the development of English from his country, which is Yemen and Saudi Arabia, he did not mention the development historically, but he mentioned it in education system. He stated that before, the education system from his country are not really good in teaching English because they are only starting to teach English in high school. They did not introduce English subject in middle and primary school. And because of that, most of the people from his country are not really familiar with English and did not use English commonly. But nowadays, the government has taken an action to starting to introduce English language as a subject to be taken compulsory, focusing on primary, middle, and high school. Because of this action, more and more people are starting to learn English, and it has become more popular in his country. And because of that, English has been used and speaks commonly by the people from his country. Moving on to question 2. Based on this question, this person said since he is speaking English, it did not really affect his mother tongue language. Besides that, fuck up. Moving on to the following question. For the localized version of English, this person said that in his country, they do not have any special or unique slangs for their localized version of English. Instead, he said that the uniqueness of English from his country is based on the poems. Since in his country, most of people love to write poems in Arabic, and some of them translated in English to make people from other countries understand it. But he also added that for some poems, it not really makes sense for it because when they translate it in English, the message or meaning that the poem is trying to convey will not make any sense, and the people will get a different idea. Moving on to question 4. As for the changes or the way people speak since English has become popular, this person said that he is not really sure if there is any changes in his country because he has been studying abroad for a long time. As for him, he said that there are changes in the way he speaks since he is learning English because he tends to mix Arabic and English when he is talking with another Arabic person. And because of that, he tends to overthink that people might think that he is just trying to show off his English, but it is not really his intention to show off his English, other than it goes out unplanned. Moving on to the last question, how the education system balancing teaching English and the native language. For him, he said that in his country, the government balancing teaching English and Arabic is by focusing on Arabic by teaching most of the syllabus in Arabic, but also added English subject as a compulsory subject for focusing on primary, middle, and high school. And he said that it is a really good way for the government to balance teaching English and Arabic for the people. But he also added some idea from his opinion that family also need to take action and play a part in this issue so that the children will know English and Arabic in the same level. As for my personal reflection and justification, in my opinion, The English language in Saudi Arabia and Yemen is getting pretty good and got acknowledged by a lot of people nowadays, as it is became more popular with the people in that country, and most of the families are starting to prioritize English. But besides the English getting pretty good, it also not a really good idea for the families to prioritize English more than Arabic, as the interview just said that Arabic is also important for their daily life. And besides that, I believe that the education system in Arabic in Saudi Arabia is also getting really good, as it is prioritized more and making English subject a compulsory subject for them to produce more English graduates from that country.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Amir Aidil Amani bin Amin Naim. My ID number is SEC22110025, and now I'm going to discuss about the varieties of English in Spain.
Hi, my name is Amir. I'm from Malaysia, and this is an interview for my assignment. Okay, can you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Blanca. I'm an engineering student at the University of Glasgow, and I'm 18 years old and originally from Spain, Barcelona.
Okay. Okay, Blanca. So, for the first question, do you mind sharing the development of English in your country?
Okay, so talking from a Spanish perspective, in my country, young people can speak English, but if I'm talking about the development of English at schools, that is where we learn. It's not great. So most of the people, what we do is we take English in another academy apart from school. So we do school English and extra English, so you can like actually become fluent at it. Because if I hadn't done that, then I couldn't be able to speak right now
Okay.
as fluently as I am able to speak.
Okay, I see. Okay, thank you. So, for the next question, has English affected your mother tongue language in any way?
So I couldn't say it has really affected how we speak, because I feel Spanish is a bit far from English. It's a Latin language, so I don't know. It's quite a different language, and obviously everyone will speak in Spanish. Because for example, I talked with Norman, and he told me that he would speak in English with her parents and some friends. That doesn't happen in Spain. Like, you will speak in Spanish with everyone, and English you will use it if you go abroad or if you're talking to someone that is not from Spain. But English, like, you will speak in Spanish always. But in terms of the language, we have like some vocabulary that young people use, like words, specific words that come from English. That has changed.
Oh, I see. Okay. For the next question, does your localized version of English have any unique slang? And could you provide me with some examples?
Okay, so yeah, we have some words, especially like my generation, we use some words that come from English, and I have some examples here. For example, we use in Spanish the stalking, but we say it like in a Spanish accent, so we would say stalkear. So it's like the word in English, but it's like changed. Even like the spell is changed to like more a Spanish manner. Or for example, we also use light for a lot of stuff, for food or whatever. And then we also use cringe, but we say cringe. So like it's not the literal translation from English. It's like the word in English, but like in a Spanish accent. It's really funny.
I see. Like the
Yeah.
CRINGE, the cringe.
Yeah, we say cringe, not
Ah,
cringe. We say
okay.
cringe.
Okay. Okay, for the fourth question, have there been any changes in the way people speak since English has become more popular in your country?
You said as the way people speak English.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd say I think with like social media and stuff and like Netflix and stuff, more young people are able to like fully understand English in my country, especially social media. So I'd say like people are more able to speak English right now in Spain, but of the way we speak, yeah, I would say that people are able to speak English. For example, my grandparents or my parents can speak really good English, whereas my sister or me, we can speak English. So I'd say that's the only change. It could be maybe education and social media, both.
I see. Okay, so for the last question for today, how do education system in your country balance teaching English and the native language, I know.
So I think there's a really big difference between public and private schools in my country. So some private schools we will have normally a better level in English in Spain, and we have many British schools or foreign schools in, at least I'm talking as a Barcelona perspective. That's a really big city. And public schools, the level of English will be a bit worse. So as I said, not all private schools have a good level of English, though it depends. But normally people have to take like extra English courses so that they can like sit exams, like I don't know, like the advanced or whatever, or like go abroad. You have to take more English than English school. Normally, if you go to the international school, then no, but most of the people don't go to international schools. So
So I see. Okay, I think that's all from me today. And thank you for your time and thank you for having me today.
okay,
All right,
good
thank you,
luck with your
Anka.
assignment.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So now I will be introducing my interviewee. Her name is Blanca Garcia Gonzalez and she is 18 years old. She was born in Spain and she is a white European. Currently, she is studying in University of Glasgow and she can speak in 4 languages fluently, which are Spain, Catalan, French and English. In the interview that has been done, Blanca shared the development of English through education in Spain are not great. It is because she said that public schools in Spain are not great in teaching English. Other than that, students need to get additional class to be fluent in English. For the second question, Blanca said that English does not affect her mother tongue language and it does not even affect the way she speaks. It is because she stated that English and Spain are not the same language and don't even sound the same, as Spain is a Latin language. Moreover, she is fluent in both of the languages, which are Spain and English. Furthermore, for the third question, Blanca said that she used some slangs that come from English language in her generation. She said that there are also words that come from English language, but the spelling is changed to Spanish. For example, cringe in English, but she pronounced it as cringe. On to the fourth question, Blanca said that there are changes in the way people speak since English has become more popular in Spain. Furthermore, she said that youngsters in Spain can speak English because of the usage of social media. Moreover, she stated that there are more people can speak in English than before this. For the final question, she said that in Spain, every type of school have different level of English. Public school do not have good English. Other than that, students need to get into another academy or get extra classes to be fluent in English or to take English examination to study abroad. So, for the personal reflection on the usage of English in Spain, I believe that Spain need to upgrade their English syllabus in their public schools. Spain's public school might benefit from an upgraded English syllabus that prioritize communication skills of grammar memorization, offer earlier exposure in primary school, and utilize interactive methods. This could significantly improve Spanish student English fluency and prepare them for a globalization world. Other than that, I think English language in Spain has become better compared to the old days.
Hi, my name is Ahmad Zulfikar bin Azlan and my ID number is SEC22110109, and today I'll be discussing the varieties of English language in Japan.
So hello, my name is Aman Zulfikar. I'm a
Hi.
student at College Professional Mara Sri Iskandar. And today I'm doing an assignment. I have to interview someone from a foreign country on
Yep.
the varieties of English language in their country.
Okay.
All right. So by starting off this interview, do you mind sharing with us a bit of your background information, your educational information, and etc.? Introduce yourself,
Oh,
basically.
okay. So I'm Daichi Kidaka. I'm from Japan, and I graduated from normal high school in Japan,
Mhm.
and I decided to studying abroad in Malaysia for 1 year
Mhm.
since I wanted to become to be able to speak English.
Okay.
And I joined a foundation year in Sunway College. And after a year, I went back to Japan, and I'm currently taking another year off, and I'm working in a hotel right now.
Oh, I see. All right. So the first question I have for this interview is, do you mind sharing the development of English in your home country?
Okay, so In terms of the English development in my country, which is Japan, I would say it's not really developed yet. Even though like they started to, you know, change their English education since this is really important thing to communicate with other people in foreign country. In elementary school, I heard they when I was in elementary school, I didn't learn English like until 12 years old. So it was my first time to learn English when I was 13. But now it I heard even the children in elementary school also learn English. So I think it's getting improved. I hope.
I see.
Yeah.
Because I learned that English is a foreign language, right, in your country. It's only used for like international communication, etc. Right?
Yeah. So Japan is, monocultural country, and
Oh,
there are there are a lot of foreigners, foreign workers, also a lot of tourists around here, but I would say we don't have like specific religion here, and we only have, Japanese mon culture, so that is one of the reasons why we don't speak English in my country.
I see. All right. For my second question I have to ask is, has English affected your mother tongue language in any way? In this case, affected the way you speak Japanese?
Um, I wouldn't say they directly affected my mother tongue, which is Japanese, but uh, after I like learn English and now I can speak English fluently, and I feel like I care about Japanese. Like I try to use Japanese correctly
Mhm.
because I sometimes teach Japanese to foreign people too,
Mhm.
and since when I'm speaking English, I try to speak with correct grammars and vocabularies. So it's the same thing in Japanese. I try to be like polite in my language, and I think that's a change. I didn't care about how polite it is when I'm speaking in my mother tongue, but after I speak English, I care more about my language too.
I see. So in a way, it has influenced a bit. Lah.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
All right. For my third question is, does your localized version of English have any unique slang? And could you provide us with some examples?
Um, first of all, we have so many words which is coming from English. So like we say apple for like apple,
Oh,
and so computer for computer. So it's called like Japanglish, I think. And
it's like the same as we have here in Malaysia, right?
yeah,
English.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
I think so. And also maybe one of the slangs I come up with is guguru. We say guguru when uh for example, let's Google. That means let's search with Google.
oh, Google.
Yeah,
Mm,
it's like if you don't know, just Google Google like
uh,
just
I see.
search with a Google. That's maybe unique slang in Japanese.
Is it like widely used or just certain
Yeah,
parts?
everyone knows here in Japan.
Or
Everyone,
most Japanese
even
people use it?
even in a company, probably not in a like polite, how to say, not in a professional situation, but most of the time they use like Google. Yeah,
Mm.
everyone knows. Yeah.
We'll continue with our fourth question.
Yeah.
Has there been any changes in the way people speak since English has become more popular in your country?
Um, think, as I said, English is not really like common language here, so I don't think there's many changes in a way people speak.
Mm,
Uh, like you know, English is getting like a common thing here as well as other countries. But you know, I'm working in a hotel and I use English like every single day because there are so many foreign guests recently, and they're like my colleagues don't really speak English, and yeah, I they can't understand what they're saying because they learn in high school and they know the vocabularies, grammars and stuff, but they don't know how to answer in English, how to speak. So so maybe for this question, maybe um not many things has changed yet.
So
Yeah.
now it's still developing, right? Maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, all right. So for the last question we'll give you is how do Japanese education systems balance teaching English and your Japanese language?
Um so I think our English and Japanese education is not well balanced yet because we have English class maybe at least 3 times or 4 times in a week, almost every day, but it's only 1 hour in a day. And
Oh,
also they teach English in Japanese.
oh, they
And
teach English
my,
in Japanese.
my so we don't use English in a class. So
Oh,
they just teach us the grammars and vocabularies in Japanese, and we have the exam and stuff. But it's from Japanese to English, you know. So like, and also my English teacher didn't speak English well. I mean,
oh,
I spoke better than her
oh,
actually.
I see.
So I mean, maybe they're better at these writing and vocabularies and stuff, but in terms of speaking, it's not that good. And also, I mean, in terms of the balancing, um, we have Japanese classic Japanese class. Like it's important to learn our culture and historical heritage. Like it's very important. I know that, but like I've never used it after I graduated from high school. So it's kind of wasting of time. And for me, I wish I could study English more, and I just remove the classic Japanese class. It's like classic Japanese is like more like coming from Chinese letters and stuff. So we are not using anymore. It's like historical words and historical letters. So it's not useful. So yeah, they're not well balanced yet. There are some like we can improve more in terms of balancing
So
the education.
Japanese education. That marks the end of my interview. So I would
All
like to
right.
say thank you so much, Daichi,
All right.
for
Yeah.
agreeing to me doing this interview. So
No, no problem. I hope it will be a good interview for your assignment.
yeah, all right. Thank you so much, Daichi. Okay, see you around. Okay,
Bye.
thank you. Bye.
So for my interview today, I chose someone from Japan. His name is Daichi Yaga. He is age 21. He of nationality of Japanese. His ethnicity is Yamato, and the languages he speaks is English and also Japanese. For the first question, which is the development of English in Japan, English is not fully developed yet in Japan, as Japanese people don't really use English in their day-to-day communications. Japan was never a British colony, but English spread as an Englishman came to Japan in the 1600s. Nowadays, English is starting to develop, and one of the ways the Japanese people ensure this is by teaching English starting from elementary school. This is to make sure that the children grow up with the basic knowledge of English language. In the 1950s, English was actually made a compulsory test that had to be taken by students before they could enter any Japanese public high school. This was to ensure all students that attend public high school are able to write in English. Not to forget that Japan is also a very cultural country, so the foreigners that come to Japan would actually have to learn Japanese instead of just speaking in English to the locals.
So, for the second question, which is does English affect your mother tongue language in any way? English does not affect Japanese so much. In fact, when Japanese people learn to speak English, they tend to love their native language even more. This is because they realize the beauty of the Japanese language and they didn't want it to go to waste. In the interview, Daichi mentioned that after he started to learn and speak English, he then used proper Japanese grammar and vocabulary when speaking his native language. He said that the uniqueness of the Japanese language should not be forgotten even after learning other foreign languages. Moving on to the third question, which is a specific localized version of English in Japan. There isn't really a specific localized version of English in Japan, but there are certain words that the locals borrow from English. For instance, the word apple is pronounced as apple, computer is pronounced as computer, and Google is pronounced as Guguru. The usage of these words are not only for street talk, but they are also used in professional situations such as in the workplace or even in schools. Japanese people use these terms widely, meaning everyone in the society is aware of these terms, and these terms are also famous everywhere in Japan. So, moving on to the fourth question, which is the change of society in Japan ever since English developed. Since the development of English in Japan is not really drastic, there has not really been any changes in the Japanese society. The Japanese people only use English when speaking in formal events or sometimes speaking to foreigners. As an example, Daichi, who is now working in a hotel where many foreigners come to visit, and he mentioned that many of his colleagues do not know how to interact with customers that are English-based speakers. So, to conclude this question, the society in Japan does not really imply the usage of English in their day-to-day conversation, so it makes it hard for them to learn and speak English outside of the classroom. As for the fifth question, which is about education, the Japanese education system does not balance the learning of English and Japanese. English classes are being held, but only for an hour every day, compared to Japanese, which they learn for about 3 to 4 hours every single day of the week. There are two types of Japanese that they learn in schools, which is the standardized Japanese and also cultural Japanese. Cultural Japanese was said to be a waste of time as they don't even use it after they graduate high school. The teachers in Japan are also not so proficient in speaking English, so they learn English grammar and vocabulary in Japanese. The teachers teach in Japanese as they make it easier for the students and themselves to understand. In the interview, Daichi mentioned that Japanese English teachers don't really know how to speak English, but are actually very fluent in writing. So, for the personal reflection or my justification of the usage of English in Japan, I believe that Japan should use English more in their daily lives, whether it's talking to their friends or going up to the store. I believe that it could be better if they imply a little bit of usage of English even to storekeepers or even to their friends. Next is, I believe that Japanese schools should offer more syllabus of English in their schools to balance out the learning of Japanese and also English. And lastly, as a cultural country, Japan should balance the usage of English and Japanese.
Hi and Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Muhammad Farifki bin Fahmi. My ID number is SCC22110040, and today I will discuss about variety of English language in country Nigeria.
Okay. Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Muhammad Farifki, and today we will doing an interview session with one of my friend Ahmed from Nigeria for our assignment for variety of English. So Ahmed, Assalamualaikum. Do you mind to share your background information?
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. My name is Ahmed. I'm from Nigeria, and I'm a student in UTP and a PhD level. So I've been in Malaysia for about 4 years. So basically, I think I'm happy to be part of this interview session. Thank you.
So we will keep short and simple. And for the first question, I want to ask Ahmed, do you mind sharing the development of English in your country, in Nigeria?
Yeah, sure. Okay, the development of English in my country. So basically, Nigerian Nigeria is a British colonial country. That is, we were colonized by the British. And being an English-speaking country, as in the British being English-speaking, so we had to learn English through them. So English became like a second language, even though we have our own local dialect. So English became a second language. So we call it speaker of English as a second language. So we began to learn it. It became the official language for transaction, for formal activities, also for communication, formal communication in writing, speaking, and the likes. So, but basically, at the inception, that is at the beginning, English, it's only the I-class, I-class citizen that could speak English. So the low-class citizen were still more comfortable with the local language. But as time went on, it's been taught in school, it's been spoken everywhere. So it became quite common. Almost everybody could speak English. Everybody that has passed through school could speak English. However, those who did not go to school will still struggle with English. So this gave birth to a second version of English, which we call the Pidgin English. So that is spoken by people who did not go to school. So that's like the development of English so far in Nigeria. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for the first question. We will moving on to the second question. Has English affected your mother tongue language in any way?
Okay. That's like the effect of English on the mother tongue. So definitely it will. Like I said, before the coming in of the British, Nigeria, people were speaking the local dialects, and we have a lot of local dialects. The most prominent one of the local dialects, we have Yoruba. That's my own tribe. So we have Yoruba language. We have Hausa language that is spoken in the northern Nigeria. Then we have Igbo. So Igbo is also spoken in southern parts of Nigeria, in the southeastern part of Nigeria. But my language is spoken in southwestern part. But so we have all these varieties of local languages. There are a lot of others, hundreds of other local languages. However, with the coming in of English, and people started to go to school to learn English, to associate with English language, and because speaking of English is attributed to the I class, so everybody wants to be seen as I class. So when they speak their local language, they tend to dilute it with English. They tend to dilute it, mix it with English. So in that case, it became like the norm. And it became difficult for people to speak their local language plainly. Like if I want to speak my local language for 10 minutes, it becomes difficult without putting English in it. So this is like one of the effects of English, because people want to associate they want to be seen with, like an I-class person. And for you to be seen as an I-class, you need to speak good English. So these are some of the effects of English language on my mother tongue. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you for the second question. Now we will moving on to the third question. So for the third question, does your localized version of English have unique slangs? Any unique slangs?
Yeah.
And can you provide us the examples?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So like the examples I gave, I say waiting. Waiting is actually what? So if I call you, I say Farhan, you say waiting. What? Yeah, what? So the I class will say, you say, okay, what do you want? So the local class will say waiting you want. You say waiting you want. So that waiting, it's actually like a local version.
Pidgin.
Exactly, which is called Pidgin. It's a local version. So that's an example. Also, day. If I say I day. If I say alpha now, you say alpha. Like alpha, how you doing? I say I day. It means I'm okay, I'm fine.
Oh.
You say I day. That is I day okay. It means I'm good. Like I day very fine. I day okay. So that's word I day. So those are some examples, and there are a lot of examples. So those are some examples.
Alright.
Okay, thank you.
So now I already knew some example of the pidgin English. So next for the fourth question.
Okay.
Has there been any changes in the way people speak since English has become more popular in your country?
Yeah. Definitely, there have been some transition, there have been some change in the way people speak. Like I said in the beginning, it was only the mother tongue that people would speak. And then the mother tongue has actually come with a lot of elements of wisdom. When you speak in the mother tongue, it comes with a lot of elements of maturity, wisdom, culture. It's very rich. You know, when you say a small thing is very rich, people can communicate as in very effectively using few words, just using few words. And this also was reflective in the kind of music people sang then, the kind of music, because the music were typically the local tongue. But when English came, there have been a lot of transformation, because a lot of people ascribe to English. So you speak a lot, but the content is slow. The content is very small. The content is not there. And also the level of wisdom that is in it is also not very rich, because you have deviated from your comfort zone, which is your native English. Exactly. Like in my native language, if I say Ojujin, that's Oju means highs. Jin means deep. It means the highs is very deep in my local language. But when I say Oju, I'm actually passing a message. It's not just the words alone that you understand. You understand there's a message I'm passing to you. If I say Oju Jin, that is like one has suffered, kind of. Or if I say Ogiri Leti, Ogiri means the wall. Eti means ears. So if I say the walls have ears. The wall has ears. In my native language, what it means is that, hey, you should lower your voice. People can hear you from the other side. If I say, hey, Ogiri Letio, maybe somebody is telling me a secret. He's telling me a secret that don't tell anybody. Like I say, Ogiri Leti. That is the wall. The walls have ears. So you can see how rich I have communicated with just a few words. But when English came, things became diluted. Thank you.
Okay. So for the last question, Ahmed, how do education system in your country balance teaching English and native language?
Yeah, okay. Thank you. That's a very critical question. Yeah. Because in my country, there seems to be a priority given to English over the local language. Like, if you want to study any course in the university, it is mandatory. You must pass English. But it is not mandatory you pass your local language. So it's like there is no a complete balance between English language and there's no a complete balance in terms of education. So my native language is only seen as a subject. You only take it as a subject in school. It is not the mode of communication in school. The mode of communication in school is English, but the native language is only going to be taken as a subject. We say the attention is actually not balanced, and we wouldn't know. Now there are movements that are trying to promote the local language, to promote each of the local language, such that English will be seen only as a means of communication and not as a means of test of intelligence. Okay?
So thank you, Ahmed, for
having me.
Thank you for sharing with us about your history of and about your language in your country. And I think that is all from us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. And first thing first, let me introduce to you my speaker's background. This is Ahmed. He is a student in UTP, which is University Technology Petronas, and currently in his PhD and majoring in mechanical engineering. His age are 30 years old and he is from Nigeria. He already stayed in Malaysia for 4 years. Without wasting time, so let's dive into the first question. So, as Ahmed said, the development of English in Nigeria is they started to learn English when British came to this country, and from there, English has become the second language in Nigeria. English also has been used for formal activities such as communication and speaking. Back then, only people who went to school could speak English, but people who did not go to school were struggling speaking English. So, this led to a birth of a lower version of English, which is called Pidgin English. So, moving on to the second question, English has affected their mother tongue language, as people in Nigeria are likely to speak English more than their local language. This is because people in Nigeria started to mix English and their local language when communicate, because it is more easier for them to understand the context, so that Nigerian people cannot speak their local language plainly without adding English words in their daily life. As for question 3, Ahmed said that there are several dialects such as Igbo, Hausa and Yoruba in Nigeria, and the example is wetin. Wetin means what, then wetin you do means what are you doing, and ede means I'm okay and I'm fine, and these slangs are created from the Pidgin English where Nigerian people speaks. So, as for question 4, yes, people tend to speak English more than local language to be seen as high-class citizens in Nigeria. But the more they speak, the low context or message is conveyed. This is because they try to follow the trend and ignore the wisdomness and richness idea of their local language. So, when English came, everything has changed. As for the last question, the two languages are not well balanced in school. This is because English have been given priority over their local language. For example, in their examination, if they fail English, they cannot further their studies into the university. However, if they fail their local language, it does not affect anything. So this shows that the educational institution did not preserve their mother tongue language at all. So, for my personal reflection or my justification, in my opinion, Nigerians should preserve their mother tongue language more than English, as English is only their second language and their mother tongue language is more important for them. Next is they should balance the two languages, which is English and also Nigerian, more in terms of education. So there is no just focusing on one language, which is English. And next is Nigerians should change their mindset where English is just as medium of communication, not the key of everything. That's all. Thank you. 3.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Kabir Harun. My ID number is SEC 22110042, and today I will be discussing about varieties of English language in Egypt.
Assalamualaikum. So today I have an interviewee. So can you tell me a little bit of your background?
My name is Osama. I am from Egypt. I am 29 years old and I am doing a master in civil engineering at the University Technology of Petronas. And that's it.
So we have Osama here and he is from Egypt. Okay, so let's proceed with the question. Okay, for the first question, do you mind sharing the development of English in your country, which is Egypt?
Actually, Egypt in the last century was under British colonization, and this affected the cultural environment in Egypt, which has been impacted by this colonization. So we took some words from the English and we use it in Arabic, and also in schools and the education. English is well used, especially for higher education, like higher school and university. Yes, that's it.
So let's proceed with the second question. Has English affected your mother tongue language in any way?
Yeah, of course. However, while speaking in English, sometimes we use some Arabic words, like we can say "Yalla, let's go," and it means "Come on, let's go." Similar here in Malaysia, you use I think "la," like "Okay, la," and yeah, this "la" is from Malaysian and from Bahasa. Yeah, so we use sometimes even we are speaking in English, sometimes we use some Arabic words.
Okay, thank you for your answer. And the next one, does your localized version of English have any unique slangs? And could you provide us with some examples, like in your daily conversation with friends or families?
As I just said, yalla, this means come on. Also, there is mashi. Mashi means okay. I don't remember other, but I just remember those two. Yeah.
Okay, so since you said that English in Egypt is being used in higher education system, so has there been any changes in the way people speak since English has become more popular in your country?
Yes, especially with the educated people. So, they normally mix English and Arabic while speaking. So you can find them speaking in Arabic and they use some phrases from English, especially in areas like fashion, maybe education, technology. So and also on other fields, sometimes you can find Egyptians mix English and Arabic while speaking. Yeah.
Okay. So for the last question, how do education system in your country balance teaching English and native language?
We have two, for the entry level of education and the primary schools, we have two types of schools, normal schools and international schools. For the normal schools, we focus more on Arabic and we have also English as a second language. So we learn both, but we focus more on Arabic. For the international schools, they focus more on English. Most of the subjects they take it in English. And for the university study, most of the how to call it, the like fields like engineering, medicine, pharmacy, those fields, the study all are in English. We don't use Arabic on this study. So like this. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's all for our interview, and thank you to my brother Osama. Thank you so much. Okay, so that's all. Assalamualaikum.
Now, I will explain the background of the interviewee. His name is Osama. He is 29 years old. He is from Egypt and currently staying in Malaysia to pursue his study. He is a master's student in University Technology of Petronas, UTP, majoring in civil engineering. So, for the first question, do you mind sharing the development of English in your country? Osama said that in the last century, Egypt was colonized by British. It affected the cultural environment, impact from the colonization. Some words from English is took and being used in Arabic. English is used especially in higher education such as secondary school and university. Moving on to the second question, has English affected your mother tongue language in any way? He said that it cannot be denied since it does have impact, especially in daily conversation. Arabic words often used while speaking English and vice versa. As an example, English words are commonly used in Arabic conversations. For example, people might say mashghil al-computer to mean turn on the computer. So for the third question, does your localized version of English have any unique slangs, and could you provide us with some examples? Osama said that their localized version of English did have unique slangs and stated two examples for this. The first one is yallah. The word yallah is a versatile term in Arabic that means come on or let's go. The example is yallah, let's get moving. And the second one is mashi. The term mashi is another common slang in Egyptian Arabic meaning okay or alright. For an example, are you coming to the meeting? Mashi, I'll be there. Let's move on to the fourth question. Has there been any changes in the way people speak since English has become more popular in your country? Osama agreed with this and said this is mostly among educated people. These individuals often have exposure to English through education, media and professional environments leading to a bilingual. Educated speakers commonly mix English with their local language in everyday conversations, some phrases being used especially in areas like fashion, education and technology. And for the last question, how the education system in your country balance teaching English and native language. Osama said that in public schools, they focus more on the Arabic and English as the second language. They learn both, but the focus is more on Arabic. While in the international schools, English is being more focused. Most of the subjects are being taught in English. They are still learning Arabic subjects, but it is not being prioritized as in public schools. For university level, most of the fields like engineering, medicine and pharmacy use English in all studies. For the personal reflection based on the interview I have conducted, I can conclude that speaking English is becoming normal in Egypt. Younger generations tend to have high proficiency in speaking English, and Egypt's education systems and syllabuses encourage students to learn English.
From our analysis, these are some of the similarities that we have found. All of the countries, which are Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Spain, Japan and Nigeria, they are all including English as a subject in their education system. English language is a subject that is compulsory to be taken, focusing on primary, middle and high school.
Other than that, English is also used as a lingua franca by all of these countries. English is used for international communication between these countries. It is shown that even each country is diverse in terms of English language, it is still function the same for each of these countries, which is English language as a medium of communication.
From our analysis, the first difference that we have found is that every country has their own localized version of English that they are local use. For example, in Japan, they borrow some words from English, such as Google, which is pronounced as Guguru, and computer, which is pronounced as computer. This goes to show that all countries have their own version of English that is widely used among the local.
Besides that, the development of English in the education system in each country is different. The level of education system in each country differs in terms of how many hours they learn English every day. There are countries that teach proper English when it comes to grammar and vocabulary, and there are also countries that use English but in their own native language and style. This action caused the development of English in their country to become slower as they not teach fully in English.
Other than that, the usage of English language differs in every respective country. The usage of English in every country is different in terms of which part of society use English in their daily lives. For instance, in Egypt, the usage of English is only by the upper class of their society. This differs to rural areas where it is that they do not really imply the usage of English on a daily basis. Other than that, as for in Saudi Arabia, they do not consider English as an important language to learn. They do not imply the usage of English in their daily lives as they consider their own native language enough to communicate between each other.
Lastly, the differences from each of these countries is that not all countries borrow a word from English to be taken to their native language. As for example, for Japan, they taken some words to be spoken in English as it is easier for them, as well as Nigeria, which is Pidgin. But for Saudi Arabia, there are no English words that are borrowed to be spoken in the Arabic language.
So for the summary, we found from this analysis is that English is no longer a single language but a collection of varieties spoken worldwide. We have also explored the concept of world English, including cultural circle model, where we explore countries where English is expanding and in the outer circle. We have explored the usage of English in 5 countries and have discovered the uniqueness that each country holds. Our discussion acknowledged the influence of local language on the English language. To conclude, there are a variety of English that can be found all over the world, and we have only explored a tiny fraction of the beauty of the English language.
Intro.